it is. We're talking about dating, how to date well, when to date, when not to date, these types of things. Hope you enjoy. Okay, I've had my decaf coffee. Why I drink a decaf coffee, it's like I like to pretend that I'm getting caffeine right now. Technically, I am getting caffeine because decaf has caffeine in it. You can't get it all out. Surprised you didn't know that. Or maybe you did. But anyways, I only get one shot of decaf. Because two shots of decaf will give me a headache, as if I had actual caffeine in my drink. Thank you very much. Thanks to COVID, this now happens. It's a long story. I won't bore you. But I used to be addicted to coffee. And then when COVID happened, I stopped drinking coffee or going to coffee shops and working. And when I'm not working, I didn't really need to drink coffee. So my body hated that. My body hated that. I stopped drinking coffee, obviously, so I went through a big headache, and then now I just can't drink coffee anymore. It really, really stinks. So anyways, that's why I'm drinking decaf, but it was so good and creamy and oaty and Okay, so anyways, I don't know how much time I have because the baby is asleep, and I decided to watch like 30 minutes of a show and then record this, which I should have recorded this while the house is quiet and give you my full attention. So I am now. I said I need to record this. I need to do this. If I watch any more show or relax, I need to do this first. So I stopped it. You're welcome. As you can see by the title of today's podcast, we are going to be talking about my best dating advice. You know what? I don't know if it's my best dating advice. It's some advice. Some dating advice. And I don't know how long this will be. So I don't have too many things on this list right now. But hopefully it's enough to get by for you today. Let's see. Okay, first let's just jump right into it and get going, because I might have a baby on my hands and I'll have to record later. So let's begin. Do they know the Lord? Now, I'm giving advice, but I'm also asking you a question. Do they know the Lord? Because if they don't, probably shouldn't be dating them. Now, this is coming from somebody that, puts the Lord first. So if you don't put the Lord first, then maybe we need to consider this first before you date at all. You need to know the Lord. But if you do know the Lord, don't compromise. I just went and got my nails done, and I was at the salon, and I was talking to the girl and praying with her, and she talked about her boyfriend a lot, and I asked her boyfriend if he knows the Lord, and she said no, we have different points of view. And then she talked about how she does know the Lord, and that her and her boyfriend just have different points of view, but that she would like to get married to him, but he's not really ready, and she's not really ready, but he's way older. And I was just thinking to myself, like, why are you even dating him? If you don't agree about the Lord, number one. Number two, you're not ready to get married. You probably shouldn't be dating him, because the only reason you date is to marry. And three, he's not ready to get married either. So why are you dating? There's no reason for you to be dating. This is my own opinion, but so it's not necessarily end all be all. Just, okay, this is just my opinion. And the way I went about dating and married my husband was very different than what even Christians would say, probably. So there's that. But do they know the Lord? If they don't know the Lord, I think you need to spend time praying to the Lord and asking, is this really the person that I should be marrying? And as I say that, I'm like, no, yeah, you should be, before you ever date anyone, you need to ask the Lord, should you be dating this person? Should you be pursuing and spending extra amount of time with this person when you could be spending it with other people? When you could be spending it with the Lord yourself, or doing things for the Lord, or enjoying Him. And should you be investing yourself, all of who you are, into this person when you aren't married? You should not be investing. This one mistake I made growing up in high school is I gave everything to the people that I dated, and I gave my heart away. And that's not what you do to someone that you're dating. You don't give your entire heart away, because you are not married to them. So again, the only person you give your entire heart to is, one, Jesus, and two, your spouse. Okay? The person you're dating does not get all of your heart, because you are not married. Only when you are married you give your entire everything to. Okay? I'm not even talking about physical or sexual or whatever. I'm talking about your emotional, spiritual, side of who you are. Okay? I think a lot of people mix that up, and they say that they gave their heart and soul to the person that they were dating, and then the person that they're dating, cheated on them or whatever, or left them for somebody else, But again, you shouldn't have given your entire heart to them anyways. And again, that's really hard not to do if you're dating somebody. But if you're dating somebody and you're like in 6th grade, or you're dating somebody and you're in 9th grade or in college, and you have no desire to get married at any point, then there's no reason, absolutely, that you should be dating somebody. Okay? Get to know them as friends first. That's going to come later. But, okay, I'm going to continue on. Do they know the Lord? Okay? That's my question for you. And if they don't, then I do not believe that you should be dating them. And if they don't know the Lord and you try to show them and introduce them to the Lord, that's okay. But you should not be dating them then. Just be friends. And you shouldn't be introducing them to the Lord so that you can date them. That isn't the Lord either, because they need to lead. If they're a guy, then they need to be leading you as the girl. And if you're the guy teaching the girl, well, that's not the right thing either, because then in the end, they're only pursuing the Lord so that they can pursue you. And that's not how you pursue the Lord in general. Okay? So there's a lot of stipulation around that whole thing, but not stipulation, I don't even know. But what I'm saying is, do they know the Lord? Can they hear Him? Do they have Holy Spirit? And have they accepted Jesus, their Lord and Savior, on their own without you coercing them or anyone? Do they go to church Church isn't the end all be all. Church isn't what makes you a Christian. Church isn't what makes you have a strong relationship with the Lord, okay? But do they know the Lord? Are they spending their time with the Lord? Are they reading the Word? Are they hearing the Holy Spirit and doing the works that the Lord has called them to on their own, of their own volition, without any needing you at all? Maybe are they doing it before they met you? Because if they're only doing it because of you, that may not be the right situation. It may be, but it may not be. And I highly doubt it is. Because if you end up dating or get married and they may not continue because they were only doing it to pursue you. Okay? And then the whole thing was a facade. And it's not who they really are, and it's not their real desire to pursue the Lord on their own. Okay? So, again, do they know the Lord before you date them? Do they have a strong relationship before you start dating them on their own? That's number one. If they don't have that, then maybe it's time to just be friends, okay? And don't introduce them to the Lord so that you can date them again. That's not how that works, okay? You need to meet someone that already enjoys and pursues and loves the Lord on their own. But it's good to introduce someone to Jesus. Don't not introduce them to Jesus, but check your motives. All right? I kind of touched on this already, but I want to say make sure you're ready to be married before you're dating. When you're dating, like, you can get to know someone as friends before you're dating. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're dating, there should be an understanding that you are dating to marry, not dating to, like, just mess around or have fun or have a good time. This is a divorce culture that we live in. In this divorce culture, we get together just to break up. So when you start dating someone and then you break up with that person, you are teaching yourself and your kids that you are simultaneously getting together with someone to break up, which means that means that is divorce type culture, because you get together only to break up and have your heart broken, your heart damaged, when you were never intended to do that in the first place. Your heart was never meant to go through that type of trauma. That's not what the Lord created your heart for. Your heart was created to love, and love fully and wholly one person. Okay? So when you are getting together and breaking up and getting together with someone and breaking up, God forbid you're physical or sexual with them, or even kissing is damaging if you end up breaking up with them. Those things, they're damaging if you're not married to them as well. So you were never meant to get together and break up. So my advice is to make sure that you are ready to marry this person, to marry in general before you start dating. This is my own personal walk again, but I was ready to be married when I said I would like to date them. And we were friends for a year prior to that. And then we dated. Our dating time was our engagement. And it wasn't even a full year. It was only a few months. From May until August. May, June, July. 4 months we dated. Because we were friends for a year prior. And I didn't know if I wanted to get married during that time. I wasn't sure. But when I started dating him, I knew I was going to marry him, and that I wanted to marry him, if that makes sense. So make sure that you're ready to marry this person before you date. And some people say, oh, I don't know if I want to date them if I don't get to know them. That's true. Be friends. You don't need to date. Dating means you don't need to be out late with them. You don't need to be alone or intimate with them. You don't need to be physical. You don't need to kiss. You don't need super extra romantic, flirty situations. Just be friends. Because long term in marriage, you are friends with that person first. And you love that person in a deeper level than it is just romantic. A lot of people get together and then they immediately just go intimate. They immediately go just like a dating situation. So they're only thinking romantic. But when you are married to this person, you're friends first. You put them first. Like, it's not always going to be a romantic situation, with your spouse. more than not, you're going to have times where you're just friends and you're like enjoying each other, and you just, love is like friendship on steroids, because of course you're physical and of course you're intimate, but it's so much more than that. It's the joy you receive from the Lord you get to give to that person, and be yourself with that person, and more honestly, it's a friendship. Like, if you can't just be friends, then you won't be able to be married. If you only can date and be romantic and physical, then your marriage will only be foundation. The foundation is on that. But if your friendship is the foundation, your friendship will last into eternity with this person. By eternity, I mean on this earth, because when you're in heaven, you're not married anymore. But because you're married to Christ, your bride. You're the bride, Christ's bride. So our marriage is a reflection of our relationship with Christ. We are the bride, and He's the bridegroom. Okay? So, you want your marriage to be a reflection of who God is. You want your marriage to constantly emulate Jesus Christ Himself, and for you to look like Christ every single day, not just to the world, but most importantly to your spouse. If you can't love your spouse like you love Christ, then you can't love the world, and you can't be a missionary, and you can't go out and do these things. You need to love your family first. You need to love Christ first, then your family, okay? A lot of times, something I learned growing up, there was a time where I was annoyed by my family in high school and junior high. I was annoyed, but I learned very quickly that when I started to grow in the Lord in high school and middle school, I realized I was super annoyed by my immediate family, my mom, dad, brothers, and sisters. And I learned, the Lord spoke to me and said, you need to love the people around you if you're going to love me. I mean, you get that love from Him first, so that you can love the people that you're closest to, the people that you're around the most, maybe the people that you know every single quirk and cranny, and every crook and cranny of their life and quirk, and the things that annoy you potentially, and things that get under your skin, whatever. But you need to know that you need to love these people through those things, and even begin to love those quirks, to love the person that the people that the Lord put you with from birth. And in turn, then you can love your spouse through all the crazy and all the stress and all the good times and all the bad times. It's easy to love in the good, but through the bad times, to love them through the bad times as well. Because the good times will roll easy, but the bad times, the stressful times, the times when you have a new kid, the times when you're turning into a new parent, these are stressful times, okay? It is stressful because you don't know what you're doing. You need to hear from the Lord about what to do, and you need to learn as you go. Sorry, I yawned, of course. It's on-the-job training. All right, unfortunately. All that to say, be sure you're ready to marry. Because that's not what you were created for, was to get together and break up, and get together and break up, and get together and break up. You were meant to love wholeheartedly to one man or woman. And that's it. And I'm not saying that's it because that's all it is. I'm saying that's it because that's more than enough. You don't need anything else. Yeah. Besides Christ, of course. But that's a given, hopefully, in your heart. because that's what I know. Okay. I'm just going to go out and say it. I think my next line kind of is like a piggyback or the same exact thing I just said. But I say don't date until you're ready to marry that person. It's just not. I just don't think. And I could, my opinions can change. But at this point, I really don't think you should be marrying that person. And don't date them until you're ready to be married. Because it's just going to hurt you in the long run. Stay friends until you're ready to say I do. When I first heard this concept, I was like, what? They went from being friends to engaged? That's crazy to me. Honestly, I thought that was crazy. And then I did it myself. Because I was needing to guard my heart, you know. I was needing to not get together and break up with somebody, you know. I did not want to live and be a part of this divorce type culture. Next, don't be physical until you're married. This conversation, I want to suggest, maybe I'll rephrase this, to not be physical until you're married. My husband and I did not kiss until our wedding day at the altar. That was just a personal conviction that we wanted to do. And so growing up, I used to hear people say that. And, you know, I would be like, I wish that I could do that type of thing, you know. And that was something I aspired to. But as I got closer to maybe getting married, or like, I don't know, later on I was like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, even when I was single, I wasn't dating anyone. I don't know if I can do that, you know. But then when I was with Caleb, my husband, it was like, no, that was our conviction. We both wanted to honor the other person. And that was, we knew that by waiting to kiss until we were married, and obviously no sex and no physical touch at all, in a lot of ways, it just really changed the dynamic of our relationship. It just said, you know, I honor you and I'm going to respect you and love you, and I'm going to wait until our wedding night to be with you completely. And honestly, it made our relationship stronger. It made our marriage stronger. The foundation was Christ. The foundation was respect and honor for the other person, to put the other person first above our own desires. And honestly, I don't know where we would be if we didn't do that first. And I wouldn't want it any other way. And honestly, it wasn't that hard because we weren't kissing. I think if you start to be a little physical and just say, oh, we're just going to kiss, or we're just going to hold hands, everything is a slippery slope when it comes to sin. And so just stay far away from the line. And that was what we decided to do. And honestly, it really helped everything. It was crucial for our relationship and staying and just abstaining until we were married. And it just helped. Just not kissing helped everything else. It made that there'd be like a wall, like the Lord just protected us because of our conviction of not wanting to even kiss until we were married. Our conviction stayed strong and we stayed true to that until we were married. It just made it easier. And maybe that's not your conviction. Maybe you did kiss. Maybe you will kiss or are kissing your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. And that's okay, you know. But for us, it really made a big difference. It made our walk with the Lord while we were dating and friends. Of course, we didn't kiss while we were friends because we were just friends. But when we were dating and engaged, it made it much easier to not do anything else because we were waiting to even kiss until we were married. So I think it just makes your whole experience dating much better, much easier. I think it allows you to also focus on the Lord a lot more during that time and to seek Him. Yeah. Okay, this is super random. How to go up to a guy in the gym. I think a lot of times there's like weird stipulation or weird like thoughts that people have about going to the gym and meeting somebody, but I think it's a really great place to meet somebody, because you are both taking care of your bodies before you meet. You care about taking care of yourself. You're getting in shape. You're staying in shape. You're maintaining your shape. You are healthy and you want to do something good for your own body and your own life. And when you take care of yourself, it shows that you respect yourself, you honor yourself, you care for yourself. It shows that you want more and you're willing to sacrifice and do what is needed to do the right thing for your body. The only one body that the Lord gave you, you decided to honor and respect that one body. We only get one, and to do it justice and to do well with it and to keep it healthy and happy and protected is all that is asked when it comes, And also, so, but how to go up and approach a guy at the gym. So you could ask them to help you or ask them a move or ask them about your form. Just say, hey, I'm wondering about this form. Hey, I'm wondering about if you think like these type of weights. You can ask them a question about the gym or about equipment or about what they're eating or about just their name, or say, hey, how you doing? Or maybe you wait and you see them a few times at the gym and you don't say it, you just say hi, and you see them a lot, and then now you want to go ask them to say, hey, just get to know them a little bit at the gym. Because again, you're not going to date until you're married, hopefully. You're just going to be friends. You're going to see them at the gym and relax. So, okay. So, I want to continue. So, I would say just ask them about them. Ask them about what they're doing, where they're from, where they work. Just be like, hey, you could start about the gym because you both have that in common. I would say that's just easiest. If you both are using the same personal trainer, just working out together and spending time like doing that workout is, you can just start to ask them where they work, what they're up to, what they do after work, what they do out in their free time, where they're from, where they live, about their family. Super, super easy stuff to ask. But I think sometimes that opening line is difficult, but I think the first opening line you could have is just ask them about something at the gym, maybe something that you've seen them do and they clearly know what they're doing, and maybe you don't have that big or good of an idea about it. Be genuine. Don't just ask them maybe about something maybe you already know, or maybe you just be genuine. Like, are you really genuinely, what is something you're really wondering about when it comes to working out or staying fit or the gym or whatever? Be genuine. Don't make something up or don't fake it. I mean, you could, but just be genuine, Be genuine. What to get as a birthday gift for a guy you've only been on 2 dates with? Well, again, I don't agree with, dating before you're ready to be married. Okay, let's say you're on a date, you've only been on 2 dates, but then you probably haven't been friends for a year, or you don't really know this person very well, obviously, because you don't know what to get them for a birthday gift. So, there's that. I wouldn't even be answering this question because I would not get them. I wouldn't be dating them for only 2 days or two dates, and I would be friends with them. Let's say you're just friends and you've only been, I'm going to change this person's question and be like, what do you get someone as a birthday gift that you've been friends with for maybe 2 weeks, okay? Ask them, number one, what is there something you want for your birthday? Maybe they won't tell you. There's a lot of you can get a gift card, you can get, maybe there's clothes that they wear, you can see what kind of clothes they're wearing, or shoes, and maybe you get them a gift card for the place or their store that they really like, or a store that you both like. You could get them, I was going to say massage, but that's probably not, that's kind of probably too much or weird. You could get them, if you know a few things that they like, or if they have different hobbies or different things, you could get them things that are along those lines. I would highly recommend that. Stuff that they like, or if they need something for their hobby that they do, or if you maybe you do something for them and you get them, you do a favor for them, to help them out with their hobby, or you just maybe they are on social media and you record for them, and then you buy them lunch, or these are simple, neutral things, get them a coffee and treat them to a day of fun things, like all the things they like to do. If they like to golf, maybe you go golfing and get them their favorite coffee, and then you go get them their favorite lunch, and I don't know, these kinds of things. I think the best gift is maybe quality time for people. And so just spending time and maybe treating them to different things here and there would be maybe a good gift. Because again, you're just starting to get to know each other. You've only been friends for 2 weeks. So there's that. How to deal with losing hope to find love. Ooh, this is a good one. If you're losing hope at finding love, I think it's a little bit more, not that it's more simple, but I think there's a lot of things that when I was single, I was looking for a absolutely perfect person to fit my exact mold of what I wanted. I wanted a perfect person to fit my life. But again, not again. There is no perfect person. You made a list back in high school and junior high like I did, and you want someone to fit that list perfectly and have every single duck in its row. Well, you're not, that's not a person then. You have a robot, or you have Jesus. So you want a person. And again, you are not perfect, so therefore your spouse or every other person in this entire world is not perfect. So you won't find someone that is your perfect person. Maybe, you're looking for one that fits you. I understand that, but maybe you're looking for a perfect person. Do they love the Lord? That's number one. And are there things in their life that it's not big enough to deal with? Like, it's too big and you're not willing to deal with the worst things in their life, If they don't know the Lord and they don't love the Lord and they have all these vices in their life, then maybe they're not the right person for you. Maybe they got to figure themselves out. Maybe it's not the right timing. And timing really is everything, because maybe they would be the right person. And then if you would have met last month, or if you would have met 2 years from now, then you would both be in the right place at the right time. But meeting someone you guys are so amazing, but it's just not the right timing, then maybe that's not the right person for you, even though they seem like the right person, but their timing is off. Then maybe that's the Lord's way of moving you on to something else and to someone else. So if you're losing hope, one, I want to suggest that you don't have your standards higher than heaven, and that you're looking for Jesus in a person. You can look for Jesus in a person, but you're still going to have a person that's looking to be like Jesus in the end of the day. So therefore, they will not be perfect. They will make mistakes. Hopefully not in sin, but in mistakes in life. Maybe you might have all these expectations in life and they don't meet those expectations. I'm not saying to settle by any means. I'm never saying to settle for somebody that's less than what God has for you. But what I am saying is maybe your standards are crazy out of this world, and you need to think about, is this person someone you don't want to live without? Is this person love the Lord, number one? Is this person, are you looking for a family person or a family-oriented person? Are you looking for someone who, has a lifestyle of travel? And, do they fit into the life that you have? Are you willing to compromise? Are you willing to let some things that they do go, and they're not that big of a deal? They're not a deal breaker in your life, or are they a deal breaker and you need to move on? Those are certain things you got to work out in your understanding. You just need to know and understand that, are you willing to live with the things that you don't necessarily like about this person? Because there will always be things you don't like about every single person that you may or may not marry or may date, or be friends with. There's always going to be stuff, because you're not dating yourself, and even things about yourself you don't like, right? So there's going to be stuff in every single person that you find that you don't like. There's always going to be that. But do they make you better? Do they make you a better person? Do they make you spur on to, do they point you to the Lord? Do they, when you try to, your arrow gets a little bent and off kilter and not pointed at the Lord, not focused on the Lord? And do they straighten that arrow back out and point it towards the Lord? When you start to feel fear or worry or anxiety, do they point you back to God? Or do they coddle you? Do they bring you down? Do they don't point you towards the Lord? They don't uplift you. They don't encourage you. They're not your best cheerleader. Then maybe that person's not for you. Do they want what they want more than what you want? Are they more of a cheerleader for themselves than for you? Then maybe that's not the right person for you. Or if they do those things, then maybe it is the right person. But I want to give you hope that you don't need a perfect person to marry, because the Lord has someone for you. But it's also not just the Lord that's going to tell you yes or yay or nay, this person will work. But it's also a choice that you have to make, and that you're going to make it's the rest of your life. So yeah, it's a big decision, but you can do it with the Lord. And it's going to be hard, but you can do it with the Lord, and it's worth it. I was just talking to my husband 2 days ago, and I was just saying, I'm so excited to grow old with you. I'm so excited to do all the memories with you. You're my best friend, and I'm so excited to do it all with you, and I don't want to do it with anyone else. I want to do it with you, and we've only been married 3 years, so I don't have all the answers, and I don't know everything, and I'm still learning and growing in all of this. But what I do know is, I was just telling him, I'm so excited. The thought of growing old with you excites me. The thought of all the memories we're going to make and all the things we're going to do in our life together, that we share together and with the Lord, excites me to no end. And I'm excited to be the grandma and grandpa sitting out on the porch at 6 a.m. drinking coffee. That's decaf, because I can't drink coffee, but maybe the Lord will do a miracle and let me enjoy this coffee, vice, whatever. So, of course, yeah, no, he's not. That was a joke. But I would love him to let me drink coffee and not get a headache. Anywho. Okay, I'm getting to the end. I'm excited about growing old. And I just want to encourage you that it's not impossible. The Lord has someone for you. but hear the Lord and also make a choice, okay? So, is it shallow to not want to keep seeing someone if the intimacy is bad? So many directions I could go with this question right now. Okay, number one, I'm assuming by intimacy you mean sex. You should not be having sex and have the option to break up with somebody because the sex is bad. Because the only reason you should ever be having sex is because you've already made a commitment prior to having sex. You've already committed your life to that person for the rest of your life. So someone can learn sex. It's a learned thing. Okay? So if the intimacy is bad and you are married, you can learn together. You get to experience that together and grow in that together. And you can teach and learn off of one of another and grow in that. But there should be no sex before marriage. That is out of the question when it comes to a relationship in Christ. And not just a relationship in Christ, but a relationship that is able to stand the test of time and not just break up. This question is alluding to if you are having sex with them that maybe you wouldn't want to and that you would want to break up now because sex is bad. Yes, that's shallow, but number two, you shouldn't be asking this question anyways because you should already be married and then there's no reason to ever break up because you've already committed yourself to that person. So, moving on. I have no idea where to find someone. Am I doomed? No, you're not doomed. I have another podcast with where to meet someone. So I think that is 1 or 2. I have gangs last week, and the week before that was where to meet people. Please refer to that podcast because I talk the whole thing for an hour and a half or something, an hour, about where to meet people. If it's hard to meet people, that entire podcast is dedicated to where to meet people. You are not doomed. There's millions of places to meet people. Please refer to that podcast. Do you find it attractive for a man who has never been in a relationship or has been in one? Honestly, it would be amazing to meet someone, the first person you meet, and that be your person and they never be in any other relationship. Honestly, that is something that is very attractive for me. And I believe that is very, very attractive to never have been into a relationship prior because, again, that is promoting a divorce culture. And yes, I've heard people say, you got to have a few relationships under your belt to know what it's like to be in a relationship. But I just don't believe that that's the right thing. I don't believe that that's what the Lord had in mind when he made relationships and when he made marriage and when he made man and woman in the first place. So, no, I don't think that you need to be in lots of relationships. You shouldn't be in a relationship until you're ready to be married. So be friends with people and have relationships that way. Friendship relationships, not dating relationships. I'm speaking from a place where I feel very, very strong and I'm not mad at all, but I'm passionate about doing things the Lord's way. I'm passionate about having successful marriages and successful relationships and dating relationships and friendships. So I don't agree that it's the right thing to be in lots of relationships. And I have heard lots of Christians say they need to get lots more relationships under their belts, but that's only going to cause more heartache and pain and frustration and ache and agony, and that's not the Lord's plan for your life. That's not what the Lord deemed right and good and helpful for you when you're in your dating years and single years and ready before you're married. So no, I really don't think it's attractive for someone that's been in lots of relationships. But if you did meet someone in lots of relationships, that's okay. That's okay. It's just not what the Lord had in mind, but the Lord can redeem these things. So don't lose hope. Don't be hurt. Don't lose hope and faith in what God's about to do in your life. I said this in a recent YouTube video that I made. Please check out my channel, Georgia Hertzberg on YouTube. But I said this in a recent YouTube video that in the Old Testament, the priests would mix something bitter, which is myrrh, and cinnamon, which is sweet. They would mix it together and it would become the anointing at the altar. So when God brings something bitter in your life, that myrrh, he was going to bring the sweet, the cinnamon, and mix it together to bring an anointing in your life that creates a testimony of time, a testimony of your life that will change the world around you and change the hearts that listen to the voice that you have to share. Another thing I shared was the scriptures talk about how, I forget which verse, Matthew, I believe it's in, but it talks about how you will bring all of those that hear your voice will be saved, and you will save your own life. You will get your own life. You will be saved, and those that hear your voice will also be saved when you preach the gospel. Can you imagine a life where every person that you talk to and you share the gospel to will be saved because you talked to them, because you shared the gospel with them? Maybe they don't see fruit right away, but they will in their lifetime. So, all that to say, I just want to encourage you in dating relationship and in dating advice. Now, I put the title as dating, but for me, dating means engagement. Dating means I am saying yes. I have not said yes at the altar yet, but I am saying yes for a future life with you, and I am saying yes as an engagement to you. So that's all I have for you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. It was my pleasure. Please subscribe and leave a review. It means so much. And share this with a friend. Thanks for listening. Love you. Bye-bye.